All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Deputy Chief Jerry O'Sullivan. I'm the commanding officer of Queens South Detectives. With me today is Deputy Chief Christopher McIntosh, Executive Officer of Queens South, in addition to Igor Pinkasov, Inspector, Commanding Officer of the 105 Precinct. Captain Campisi, the Commanding Officer of Queens South Narcotics, is with us also today. I'd like to mention Sergeant Nicholas Beckus of the 105 FIO team. The reason we're here today is to brief you in regards to a search warrant which was conducted today, which totaled was a completion of an investigation that occurred here in Queens Village. Resulted of 5 arrests, adults, and the removal of a 10-year-old child from a dangerous environment. This joint investigation was initiated by the 105 field intelligence officers, in addition to which resulted in joint investigations with Queens South Narcotics. A thorough investigation was conducted at a particular location here in the 105 precinct. That evidence was presented to the Queens District Attorney's Office, and a search warrant was obtained and signed by a judge. Queens South Narcotics teams and the 105 FIO conducted a search warrant today at the location. That entry was made under the overall supervision of Captain Charles Campisi. The location was at 4:40 this morning at 208-08 100 Avenue. The result of that search warrant was 4 guns, approximately 4 kilos of cocaine and heroin, and it's the belief mixed with evidence was also there of fentanyl was mixed there also. Based on the recovery of this location, in addition to that, as you can see in front of me, there were approximately 4 kilo presses, which evidence suggests where a large amount of narcotics was prepared at that location and used for distribution. What makes this crime even more dangerous, significant, was the fact that a 10-year-old child was in close proximity to this dangerous substances that was recovered at the location. All the adults that were in the location were taken into custody without incident. The child was removed from the home, and ACS was contacted and was placed in care of an additional person known to the department. I just want to mention some of the things that were recovered. We had a Smith & Wesson firearm, a Taurus 9mm, a Taurus 45 caliber, and a high-capacity rifle that we see here in front of me. I'm ready to take any questions you may have in regards to this incident.
We're going to start off with maximum 10-10 wins.
Do you know if the 10-year-old was maybe related to any of the people you arrested?
Yes.
What relationship?
I don't want to get into the capacity of who was arrested there, but there was a relative arrested.
Miles from NBC.
Can you tell us how this sort of investigation came to bear and how long it had been going on?
Well, I'll get it. First of all, the investigation started with the 105 field intelligence officers, and it's very important to note on this particular case, there were multiple bureaus within the police department. This began from the field intelligence officers. Information was obtained about a specific person that was known to deal with firearms and narcotics. They worked with our narcotics teams, which falls under the Detective Bureau. So there were 2 bureaus working side by side, and the 3rd bureau is the Patrol Bureau, which falls under the 105 precinct. So it's a joint investigation, thorough. These officers worked thoroughly on it, and the execution of the search warrant was done perfectly. No one got injured or hurt. Safety precautions were made, and as we can see with these loaded weapons and ammunition that was recovered, we are very grateful that no one got hurt during this morning's search warrant.
All right, Dollar Miles.
Possibly just kind of, we know the deal, but kind of paint a picture for us and give us a story and narrative how investigators believe this operation was actually operating.
Well, I could say that what our field intelligence officers do and our narcotics officers are doing, they do a lot of debriefings and investigations. People give them information and they follow up with the information that we receive. They thoroughly investigate and review the information that comes their way. I think it's really important to note, and it's rightful to point out the work that's done in this command by the field intelligence officers. I think year to date, this marks the field intelligence officers' 85th firearm arrest year to date, which will completely surpass where they did last year. Same with the Narcotics Bureau at Queens South. A significant increase of search warrants in addition to gun recoveries. So I'm very proud of the work that's being done by all these investigators right here on the side and supervisors, and it's really important to note that we're here as a result of their investigation and their hard work out on the street. So I want to thank you guys and girls for all the work that you're doing. So thank you.
Follow up, Maya?
Just, can you give us an idea about the 4 actors who were involved and what their alleged involvement was? Was one like a sales or for drugs? Do you know where this was disseminated? Can you kind of give us a little more details about the actors, please?
I will tell you one person is we believe was involved in heavy distribution of narcotics. This is a large operation. I don't want to get into too much of it because we're not done here yet. We see a lot here on the table. It was a successful operation. I think the significance of it is, one, the amount, and two, that the fact that there was operating at a 10-year-old child was living in the household. So to put it in perspective, too, to describe it, this was a single-family house, multiple floors. There was a second-floor bedroom where a young child lived at, was residing, sleeping in his room. Right across the hall from that child was a recovery of this dangerous drugs right across the hall. In addition to that, we go down to the basement. That's where you see all those firearms recovered, in addition to the large amount of narcotics. So we feel this was both sale and distribution of illegal firearms and illegal narcotics.
Dean Moses, AM New York.
How are you, when officers go in, how are you able to quickly determine this is fentanyl?
Well, so our officers, our narcotics officers, are trained to do search warrants. And that's what they do day in, day out. We have a significant increase in search warrants this year. This is what they do, but there's a lot of preparation for these search warrants. They use shields to go in there that to deflect any type of bullets that come their way, if that, God forbid, that occurs. They're heavily prepared. They take every single search warrant with, it's every single one is treated as a serious concern. They did terrific with that, and I think with this one, I think the smell, we know with this type of operation too, there's a concern. Sometimes it gives significance or evidence as the smell that comes with that also. So that's, I don't know if that answers your question.
Just quick follow-up. In lieu of what happened also in the Bronx with children, did your officers carry Narcan?
Yes, it's mandatory. For our narcotics teams, the dangerous work that these officers do each and every day, we're very aware of their exposure, potential exposure to this product. And with that said, they carry Narcan, as does the officers on patrol in the 105 precinct.
All right, Nicole Johnson.
Chief, just react. Separate case, separate situation in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Similar being with a child. Just send a message to folks who think that this is okay.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know how anybody could think it's okay. And I just described a layout where a kid's bedroom across the hall is fatal doses of legal narcotics is just across the hall from where a 10-year-old child is sleeping. It is completely unacceptable. We take all this personal. That incident that happened in the Bronx, we're well aware of that, and we're going to continue to act on information that we receive about the illegal substance that are produced out here too in Queens. So, go ahead.
Miles Miller.
So, obviously these people have been charged, so their name. Are we all right in sort of surmising that Ansel is the sort of ringleader of this, and that Malik and everybody else was working for him, or how does that? Usually there's a chart and tells us,
Yeah, I think this investigation isn't over. I want to continue running with that, and you're aware of one person had a significant arrest history, previous felony conviction. Yes, we were aware of him prior to this search warrant. Investigation was done with him in mind. So the others, this isn't over. We're going to do debriefings and further investigation to, I wouldn't be truthfully answering your question if I answered it right now.
Nate, New York Times.
I wanted to ask, guns were part of this investigation, drugs were part of this investigation, and it's sort of NYPD's focus on drugs, or on guns, leaving opportunity for people dealing only in drugs to do more business? And does the NYPD believe that guns are as integral a part of the drug trade as they were like in the 1980s?
So I think I'll answer your question based on what's going on this year to date. Frequently, where there's guns, when there's narcotics, there's guns. Frequently, where there's high amounts of currency, cash, frequently there are guns recovered. With our officers here that are present, both the on patrol, the field investigation officers, and narcotics, significant increase in gun arrests this year in this part of Queens. Jamaica, Queens, 105 precinct, tremendous. And with that said, I mean, Inspector Pickett's office is commanding officer here, a significant decrease in shootings. I believe 60% decrease in shootings just here in the 105 precinct. It is my belief that does not happen by accident. These officers do thorough investigations. They look at who is, they obtain information on who's committing these type of crimes and who's carrying the weapons, who's selling the drugs. Extensive investigations are done, and I think that goes hand in hand with a decrease in crime.
All right, we're gonna take two more questions. Joaquin Torres from Univision.
Two questions. Can you remind me what is the value of that drug on the market? And the second,
Go to the second question.
and the second is if you have increased the number of the narcotics teams, because we know that at this time you have been done like more arrests on narcotics than other years.
Yeah. So to your first question, I don't have the street value of today's seizure. I don't have that with me right now, and it'll get we done our weight for it. In addition to that, it'll go to the lab, thoroughly tested, get an official weight from that also. To answer your question, we did increase the amount of officers assigned to Queens South Narcotics, and with that too, we've increased the arrests significantly. We work with our patrol counterparts. An example, the borough commander will get complaints in various precincts in this borough, tell me about them, and we will act and investigate on those complaints also. In addition to that, we look at the commands that have had a history of violence in narcotics-prone locations, and I can tell you that we've increased our narcotics arrests in these locations to address violence, and we've seen a decrease in violence in this borough as a result.
All right, our final question will be Dollar Miles, NBC.
ABC.
ABC.
It's okay. Two quick questions. Tell us about the distinguished officers who are actually standing here with you.
Thank you so
today.
much for bringing that
And
up.
then secondly, the time, how long do you think this investigation has been taking place? But we want to hear about these officers.
Oh, I'm so grateful you brought that up because, you know, here I'm wearing a shirt and tie. These officers are out there wearing bulletproof vests and working in inclement weather, whether it's significantly hot, cold. They're out there day and night in harsh hours, harsh environment, and in difficult environment. With that said, what's important to note here is, again, to us, we're all officers, but there's different bureaus here working side by side together and sharing information. Both the precinct, patrol, detective bureau, and the field investigation team. So it's three separate bureaus working side by side, and it's sharing information. In my opinion, that's how stuff gets done. And again, what we have here is what we call White Shield police officers come to narcotics, and it's an investigative unit. Same with the field investigation team. It's a path. It's a career path. We try our best to get the best of the best that are out there, and they're going after very bad people, and it's highly successful in this borough, and I'm proud of the work that they do.
And they're the ones who did this takedown.
That's correct, yeah.
How long was the drug operation? Do you have an idea of how long?
And it was a period of time, But again, the information initially was developed by the 105 field investigation officers.
All right, everyone, thank you for your time and attention. Thank you.